T-shirt, pure cotton. We've got a choice of film to use in terms of creating the negative, and I'll explain the differences later. Some masking tape, some Lumi Inkodye, which can be purchased either in the bottles or in these handy snap packs. I'll talk about that as well. I've got some just flat board, I've got some foam board, I've got some chipboard, a bit of just spare cloth rag for dampening off, some pins, some clips, a brush, and I've also got a sheet of perspex. So as we go through it, you'll see how we're going to use all those to create a print. And we're going to cover it with the stencil. Sunlight will pass through the negative. The areas that the sunlight gets through to will change colour. The areas that don't will stay the original colour of white. So we'll put that out in the sun for 10 minutes. It'll change colour, and that's the process of creating an Inko. Some really cool things where they've taken some fabric and they've put safety pins or leaves or other sort of material down and use that as the stencil, the sun to come through and create a shadow. Okay? To create a negative, you've got a couple of choices. And I was talking to people earlier that there is an app that you can download that's free from Lumi. And with that app, it will very easily allow you to take any of the photos on your iPhone and convert them into a negative. Okay? The darks become light, the lights become dark. It also has a little tool there for adjusting lightness and contrast, etc. So that's one easy way. So once it's converted to a negative, one of the little tricks is getting enough blackness onto these transparencies to get a nice result. So you might want to change the brightness level on your negative to make it a bit darker. Okay? And what you'll invariably find is on a home printer, be it an inkjet or a laserjet, it will probably struggle to get enough ink or colour onto the transparency to make it dark enough. So again, what you might find is you need to make 2 copies, exactly the same, and sticky tape them on top of each other, okay? Which is what I've done here. So I happen to, most people will have an inkjet printer at home, in which case the transparency to use is the Inko film. So it's clear film and it's got an inkjet receptive coating on it. So there's the Inko film to use with an inkjet printer. If you've opened up the packet and not sure, you'll feel the sticky or rougher side will be the one with the coating on it. That's the side that you want the image to be printed onto. They can be quite sticky after they've been in a printer, and they will stick to each other. And if you're going to use a negative quite often, if you coat it with a bit of matte spray, then you'll find that that'll just help protect the negative as well if you're using a lot, so you can use it more and more. So we've got snap packs. And we've got the bottles. Now, according to the manufacturer, a typical print size might be 30cm by 30cm area. Okay? And you could easily do one of those with a snap pack or 8 with a bottle. The other thing that you need to know is, though, that this is really packed with a lot of pigment. So you're more than able to add 1 or 2 parts water to this and get a lot more coverage. Probably easier to get really fine detail on a stiff fabric than on a slightly stretchier material. When the product first arrived and I was experimenting, I was using things like this as a masking sort of thing, but I've really come to the resolution that this is by far the nicest, cleanest light. And so the ideal thing would be a room with a pair with blinds. You can close off the blinds. You can have as much artificial light as you like. That's fine. It's the ultraviolet light from the sun that is going to cause the exposure. So in this environment, as soon as I pour the Inkodye out and start applying it, it's going to start changing colour. If it's really wet, then as the sun comes down, it's going to hit those particles of pigment that are on the very top. And if they're not embedded into the fabric, there's a chance they're the first ones to wash off. So material underneath, apply your Inkodye and then dampen off as well. So if you've got a really non-porous material underneath, it just makes it harder. So flat surface, and I've got my transparency which I'll then place here. The choices are, you could then just use some pins and pin the corners to stop it moving, or ideally, if you've got some glass or some perspex that you can put on top, then that will hold the negative down nice and flat. Once we've got that, we will then just secure it with some clips like this. The reason I'm showing you all this now is because, again, as I mentioned, because of the lighting situation, when I do this, I'm going to be working fairly quickly. There's a nifty roller that you can use. You can attach it to the bottle and roll it on. So great if you're doing large areas, okay? So it's the roller and that will attach to the bottles. The snap packs, don't know if you can see it, but you'll see a little line across there. So all you need to do is just simply break open the snap pack and it will squeeze out. Yep. So that's how snap packs are used. So in this case, I think I'm going to use some of my magenta. In terms of the colours, also some of the colours are monopigment, some are multi-pigment. What you'll find as you're exposing it, some pigments will come out in colour before other pigments. So you might apply a sepia, and as you're looking at it, you're going, actually that looks magenta, but it might be that the magenta particles in there are the ones that are exposing first, and then the others will catch up, sort of thing. So some have got different pigments in there. One thing I didn't write on your list, and it's important, is give the bottle a good shake, or give your snap pack a little bit of a massage, because the pigments will settle in there, and it's important to mix them up. And I'm just going to use a brush because that's what I'm commonly using, but you can use anything, as I said before. They're in a black bottle, so they haven't been exposed to the light, obviously. So we're going to pour that on, we're going to brush it on, we're going to damp off with this, and then we're going to reach for the transparency, and then we're going to reach for this, and we'll be okay. So, shaking the bottle, and really I'm just going to pour that on there. And just splash that around. So obviously you can see I've put, I could cover a much bigger area with the amount I've just put on there. I'm going to dampen that off. Just going to feel it a little bit, and that's sort of damp without being wet now. Okay. And I'm going to remove that absorbent material that I don't need anymore. Throw that on Manny's floor. Got my negative. And just try and position that correctly. Yeah, we're going to back to front image. So I've got my little sandwich there, and these bulldog clips are great to just secure that.
You can't turn it the other way.
Even late in the afternoon at 4 o'clock on a cloudy day, I could still get plenty of sunlight exposed on them. So, you can see the amount of colour coming through. So when I return it, we can look through the glass and see how much colour is there. So you can judge it that way. If it's a really bright sunny day and you looked at it after 5 minutes, thought, gee, this looks about right, that'll do me. Wait at least 10, because it'll need that just to set the dyes, okay? And normally what you would do is wash it straight away, okay? If you can't wash it straight away, or you're going to be doing several of them, you put in a black plastic bag, then that'll be fine, just to keep it away from the sunlight. So Lumi recommends, and I think they're right, that you need to wash it twice, and you need to use a hot wash and a cold rinse. It's a commercial grade detergent and very strong. So if you don't end up using that and you want to try another wash, you can. If you want multiple colours on a project, you could apply Inkodye, you know, a red here or a blue there or an orange there. You know, you could mix them up. The edges, of course, are going to be mixed into each other in that sort of thing. It's going to be impossible to have crisp lines of colour on that. Yep. Yep.
Oh, wow.
And there we go. Exposing the sky areas because of the daylight wear. And so you can see that's a nice, beautiful, crisp edge that you're going to get there as well.